Right, this is WALN, the Party Channel, just in case everybody forgot who we are. And on the phone with me right now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the grand ladies. She is an icon of the late 50s and early 60s, and still today, because I'm going to play...
Oh, that new record.
That new
old
record,
record, as you call it.
New old record, I call it, you know? But anyway, I am very humbled, and I mean this with all sincerity and all my heart, I am very honored to have this grand lady on my show tonight. And as I said, it's going to be a historical night here, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear some of the great stories that this young lady has to say. And ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lillie Howard. How are you, Lillie?
Oh, Ned, how are you doing? And Uncle Veto, how are you?
Great, great.
Oh, we're both doing fine. So what's new and exciting, Lillie? We played your brand new version of the song that we're going to talk about, and it created a huge stir here Saturday night, I guess it was. And it created people that are enjoying that song from Chicago called us and said we had to play it twice for them. So, Lillie, let's go way back to the day when you said to yourself, Lillie, I am going to be a rock and roll singer, or I'm just going to sing. Let's go way back, and when did that happen in your life?
Memories like the corner of my mind, misty watercolored memories for the way things were. And as my mind goes back to the way it all began, truthfully, I'd like to say that it all began when I first was birthed into this world, because...
Your mother was singing.
I just want to share this with you because it makes me realize that God had plans for me from the moment I was conceived. Because on the 13th of February, my mother went into labor. They rushed her to the hospital. Once she got to the hospital, a big major blizzard started. Now, if she had not went into labor, she would have been home. I was a cesarean birth. I would not have lived because she wouldn't have been able to get to the hospital. I had to share that with my listeners to make them realize everything is destined. We all have a destiny. So let's move on up. I loved music all my life. When I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I did a concert, gospel concert in the church. And my grandmother, at that time, they called them rent parties with the people, you know, they would sell food to help pay the rent. Anyway, guess what? My grandmother had a jukebox in her house. And the people would put money in the jukebox to hear little, they call my nickname Sweet Cake, little Sweet Cake sing with the likes of my special favorite singer, Dinah Washington. So this all flowed and rolled down a little bit. My grandmother's uncle lived in New York City, and she used to take me to New York City to visit him. And during that time, she would take me to the Apollo Theater. I was sitting there as a little girl, 7, 8 years old, and looking up on that stage, and I was saying to myself, one day, I'm going to be on that stage. This is why I tell people, never give up on your dreams, because if you hold on to them, they will materialize. So let's move it on up. My grandmother knew I wanted to be a singer, and of course my mother. My mother was managing a club at the time called the Golden Platter. She used to have live music there every weekend. So she would let my grandmother bring me down so I could just be exposed to seeing live music and hearing it. And they would call me up on the stage and let me sing. Well, it just so happened the organ player, whose name was Kelly Owens, he told my mother, I like her sound. When she gets a little older, contact me, and I'll see what I can do for her. Well, sure enough, when I became 17, I called him, and I went into New York City, and he started booking me in clubs. Well, it just so happens, one club that he booked me in New Jersey, called the Chicken Shack. At that time, in the clubs, they used to have a band, a comedian, and a dancer, and a singer. Well, it just so happened the dancer heard me singing, and she said, you know what? I like your sound. She said, I have a friend. His name is Billy Ford, and he has a band that he uses two singers in his group, but it just so happens one of the singers have quit. She said, I'm going to tell him about you. So it just so happens when she thought he was in the country, but he wasn't. She had told him about me, but I didn't realize that the reason why he hadn't contacted me because he was over in Goose Bay, Labrador, and Thule, Greenland, performing for the troops. So it just so happened 6 weeks after she had told me that, well, let me tell you this. This is why I say young people being young and foolish. Being that I didn't hear anything in 3 weeks, I went back home to Newburgh because I was just, I said, oh, well, I don't want no part of this. Well, it just so happened 3 weeks later, I received a phone call, and it was Billy Ford. And he said, Lillie, he said, my friend told me about you, and I would like you to come in and audition for me. Well, it just so happened on the day that I went into audition for him, Frank Slay and Bob Crew happened to be there because they knew that Billy carried two girls with his group, and they had a song that because they were really excited about duos. Love is Strange was hot at that time. They wanted their own duo. So anyway, they said to Billy, well, Billy said to them, my singer is sick. She didn't show up today. So they see me there. They said, well, who is this? He said, well, this is a young lady I'm going to be auditioning after the two of you leave. They said, well, we'd like to hear what she sounds like. So they said, would you sing something for us? I got up and I started singing Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean by Ruth Brown. And when I finished singing, they looked at one another. They said, wow, we like her sound. So they went into their briefcase, pulled out this sheet music, and they said to Billy, let's hear the two of you sing this. So Frank went to the piano, started playing La-Di-Da. So we toyed around it a little bit, started singing. Frank and Bob looked at one another and said, wow, this is it. We want to record this. Now, can you imagine? Here I am, just coming in to New York, to thinking I'm auditioning for Billy Ford's group, and what happens out of it is Frank Slay and Bob Crew, who happened to be the writers of that big hit Silhouettes, was there, heard me, and that's how it all started.
Almost unbelievable.
It is.
Almost unbelievable.
It's fate. It was fate, and I'll tell you, I was shocked when I went back home to Newburgh that night and told my mother and them what happened. They said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm going to be recording." "What do you mean you're going to be recording?" "I thought you were going in there just to audition for the guy to sing in his group." I said, "Well, I thought that's what I was going in there for too." So, within 2 weeks, went back to New York City, recorded La-Di-Da. Now, you have to understand, Billy didn't choose me. Frank and Bob chose me to be a part of this group. So that's how Billy and Lillie really started off in a very tense way.
Let me ask you something, Lillie. When you went into the recording studio, or actually even before that, when you were told and you went back to Newburgh, what was your feelings like at that time? What did you feel like?
Truthfully, Ned, it was like I was on a cloud or something. I mean, it was so exciting to me. I mean, it was like, this was something that I had dreamed of ever since I was a little girl, wanting to be a big-time singer. And just to know that this evolved in this way, I said, my Lord. I mean, I was so excited, but sad to say, I was too excited because I didn't have anyone to guide me as far as, making sure contracts were in order and all that. All I had in mind, I'm going to record. I'm excited. I'm going to record, so.
And then you, at that point, you didn't care about contracts as much as say, like today's, versions of songs and things like that. You just wanted to get on vinyl.
That's right. I wanted to get on vinyl. This was my dream coming true. And not realizing or recognizing the significance and importance of making sure that contracts were in order, like they should have been. But I must say, and after we recorded La Di Da, 2-3 weeks later, here I am off to Goose Bay, Labrador in Thule, Greenland with Billy Ford and the Thunderbirds, because he had been booked already prior to that to go back to perform for the troops. So we're over in Goose Bay, Labrador, and we get a record. They sent the record to us so we could see it. Swan Records, Billy and Lillie. Boom. Big bomb. Because Billy wanted it to be Billy Ford's Thunderbirds. That's it. But Billy and Lillie rhymed. We were the ones recorded it. So Frank and Bob put Billy and Lillie, which was, that was the right thing to do. But you see, and I understand in a way. Billy was around 15, 16 years older than me. Billy had been in the business for quite a few years. Billy was a trumpet player with the big Cootie Williams band before he started Billy Ford's Thunderbirds. So he had did what they say, paid his dues. That's what they call it, paying your dues. I hadn't paid any dues, and he felt disturbed about the fact here's this young chick going to come on the scene and, share in my fame, which in reality, his manager told him, Billy, this is something good for you, But I always ask myself, if it had been reversed, how would I have reacted if it had been a, reverse situation?
Exactly. Now, when both of you went into the recording studio, how did you feel as far as, will we mesh with our voices? How many times did you record this till you finally got the final cut down on the vinyl? How did it feel when you two were together at that particular time and doing this song?
It almost seems like it was written in the stars, because when we went into the studio and recorded that song, it didn't take too many, tracks for us to get the song, finalized. It was like our voices blended so terrifically together, like our song, We're So Terrific Together. Our voices blended so, it was great. And but we had no idea what was going to happen, that the song was going to go the way it did in such a fast way. It was fast.
What was it like when you went on tour with him up to Goose Bay up there? Knowing that, okay, we recorded this song, but we're with Billy and the Thunderbirds at that time. What was it like?
Well, you have to understand, here I am, a 17-year-old girl. This is my first time being out of the country, away like that. So I felt it was strange to me, truthfully. Plus, it was cold as I don't know what over there. And, flying in the plane like that to get there. And it was just, it was surreal. It was like, is this really happening? So quickly, this is happening like this?
Billy's not here to of course, answer the next question I'm going to give you, but what was his reaction to the song La Di Da?
He liked the song, but as I said, he wanted it to be Billy Ford's Thunderbirds. And that it was Billy and Lillie, we started off on a bad foot because there was always resentment there.
Well, how did you end? That's the main thing.
What was that there?
How did you end? That's the main thing. You started
How
off.
did we end?
Yes.
What do you mean, at the end of Billy and Lillie?
Yeah, you said you started off on a bad foot, but how did you end?
I mean, how did you go into your next songs and things like that?
Oh, well, we worked together for not quite 2 years. You know, it was ongoing, you know, going into the studios, recording, but it was always tension. It was a lot of tension.
Wow. Well, you know what we're going to do right now? We're going to give you a little break and play that song. Now, how many records did that sell?
Well, I was told that it was a million-seller record.
Rightly so.
But something, I just want to share this with you, because I had no idea. I want to share this with you. Swan Records. The Philadelphia label Swan sprang to prominence in 1964 when it delivered the Beatles' second American #1 hit, She Loves You. After EMI's American company Capitol turned down the Beatles' first hit, but let me just read this part right here. In the 50s, America's longest-serving DJ and TV host, Dick Clark, was an investor in Swan and other small record companies. But after a congressional investigation following up allegations of payola involving record companies and radio stations, he gave up his label interest. So, you see, it's amazing. I mean, it was put on Swan Records. Dick Clark had American Bandstand. So, I mean, it was like, it was just a dream.
All right, well, we're going to play the song, and when we come back, we'll talk more about that dream, and we'll talk a little bit about Bandstand when you guys are on.
Okay.
Stay with us, and you out there, stay with us as well, as we play Billy and Lillie's #1 song. There you go. Are you singing with that, Uncle Veto?
Oh, yeah, I was trying to do the calypso there too as well.
All right, Lillie, you went to American Bandstand. What was it like at that point when you went on there and did that particular song?
Oh, my gracious. Oh, my gracious. It was, oh, my gracious. It was amazing, amazing. And I have a copy of the article that was in the local Newburgh paper. It says, Newburgh girl scores big hit as rock and roll recording star. It says, any rock and roller worth an old fish dance knows what la-di-da is. And it's a cinch they also know who Billy and Lillie are. But there may be a few round haircuts around this pair who aren't with it. So please be advised that la-di-da is a way up there on the rock and roll hit parade. And it's sung by orchestra leader Billy Ford and Miss Lillie Bryant. Billy and Lillie. Lillie from Newburgh.
Now, when you went on, now, of course, you know, you were going to be in front of the cameras here that's going to go all across the country. Now, Billy, of course, was pretty much a seasoned veteran at this.
Right.
What do you think that either one of you were a little bit nervous, maybe?
On American Bandstand, I think a little bit, yeah. I know I was, a little bit, but it was almost like I was so into, this is my dream coming alive. This is my dream becoming a reality. So I guess I was like, in a way, a little nervous, but it was like, I'm living that which I've dreamed of since a little girl.
Wow.
And it was like, it was just awesome.
How did the people, your neighbors up in Newburgh, New York, how did they react to that? When, of course, you did come, you know, you went back home. What was their reaction to your scoring this big hit with Billy? What did they say to you?
I'll never forget. This time I had came home, And because I had one child at that time, I was an early bride. I had one child. My grandmother was watching my child for me. I came home, and as I got off the ferry, because Newburgh, the Beacon train is across the river, so I caught the train up, got off the ferry. I don't know how people knew that I was coming in, but evidently my mother had shared it with some people that she's coming home to blah, blah, blah. When I got stuck up there off that ferry, there was about 25, 30 people around there. They said, Lillie, 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 and it was mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing. But, the very thing that really I was very sad about, because usually when a person has something of that significance and magnitude, the city does something, gives them the key to the city or whatever. But that was never done here in the city of Newburgh. Never was.
That's their loss. That is their loss. How did the kids react to you on American Bandstand? You and Billy. I mean, what did they say to you after the show, or of course, if you see the clip on YouTube, you see them all dancing and everything. What were they like? How did they, talk to you guys?
Just swarming around us, wanting our autographs. Please, can we have your autograph and that type of thing? It was very exciting.
Wow. It's amazing. What did you feel like when you first heard your and Billy's song on the radio?
Oh, let me share that with you. Being in Goose Bay, Labrador, there was no radio. We couldn't hear it over there. When we came back to the States, I'm telling you, it's almost like a fairy tale. My husband was there at the airport to pick me up. When I got in the car, this was mind-blowing to me. As soon as I got in the car, because he had the radio on, and the DJ said, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, the big hit, La-Di-Da." And that was my first time hearing it on the airwaves. It was mind-blowing, because I had not heard it, because we were over there in Tule, Greenland, in the Goose Bay, Labrador. So this was my first time hearing La-Di-Da over the airwaves. It was like a dream, a dream. I said, oh, no!
Did you scream in the car when you heard it like everybody else did?
You think I didn't? I was screaming and hollering. Oh, my gracious.
Wow.
That was one of the greatest thrills of my life.
How many autographs do you think you gave out throughout the years?
Oh.
I know that's a really unfair question. I'm sure thousands and thousands.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of autographs.
All right, let's move up to your next big song between you and Billy. Mm-hmm. And that was called Happiness.
Happiness, yeah. And you know this big thing they had going with Happy recently, Pharrell, and everybody throughout the world was sending in videos and everything about happy, and it made me think of Happiness, saying, yay, yay, happiness.
And who wrote that song?
You know who wrote it, right? Playing Bob Prost.
Oh, my goodness, wow. They really got your career up and going, though.
Yes, they did. Yes,
now, before I play the song, I wanted to ask you this a little bit back ago, but I'm just thinking of some of the questions I wanted to. And I'm never prepared. What I do is I just, we just go with the flow.
Wing it.
We wing it, yes. Who was your probable role model that inspired you to sing? That was like a role model type person that you wanted to mold yourself after.
Well, I used to, even as a little girl, I always loved Dinah Washington. I loved her music. I used to listen to her music. Like I said, when my grandmother used to have the rent parties, and she had a jukebox in her house, and the people would come and sit down, order their food, eat, and put money in the jukebox, and they'd be playing like Dinah, Sarah, and every time Dinah Washington songs come up, I would stand by the jukebox and sing it. Now, you're talking about, what, 7, 8 years old, and the people would say, wow, how's this little girl, how can she sing with so much feeling like this? So, it was like Dinah Washington that really was the artist that I really loved.
My goodness, all righty. How about if we play Happiness right now, and then we'll move on up in your career?
Okay.
Here we go. And it's such a lovely song. You're going to love this, my friends. Happiness.
Just listening to these songs.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about history, and I promised you people out there that this was going to be a historical night, and it is. It certainly is. All right, Lillie, and we're talking to, if you're just tuning in to us on television right now on Service Electric, thank you very much, and we are talking with Lillie Howard of Billy and Lillie fame, and welcome back to the show here, my friends. Lillie, what was your next big hit?
Lucky ladybug, lucky ladybug.
Cha-cha-cha.
Let's talk about that song. When you, how was it, or how far between La-Di-Da and Lucky Ladybug before, the distance in time between those two songs that, you scored with the second one here, the third one with Lucky Ladybug?
I think Lucky Ladybug came out, later in 1958, later on, probably around September, October, 58. You're talking about 50-something years ago. But I think it was probably in, maybe in the mid-58. Because, we did the Alan Freed Rock and Roll Tour.
Well, let's talk about that. Where did you go? Who were you with?
Oh, my gracious. You're talking about, now, here I am, 18 years old then, because I had turned 18 in February. Anyway, Alan Freed wants us on his Big Beat show. And now you're talking about a young girl traveling from, on March 23rd, we were in Philadelphia. March 26th, we were in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. March 30th, we were in Bartlettsville, Oklahoma. April 4th, Canton, Ohio. April 6th, Akron, Ohio. The New York Coliseum, April 1st. Okay, April 5th, Dayton, Ohio. April 6th, Wichita, Kansas. April 22nd, Waterloo, Iowa. April 26th, Chicago. I mean, you're talking about, here I am, traveling all over the place. Canada, all over the place. In the Alan Freed Rock and Roll Tour with the likes of Chuck Berry, Frankie Lyman, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, the Chantels, Big Bopper. I mean, this was like Chuck Berry. This was like, what, is this really happening to me?
What did it feel like?
It was like, it was surreal. Like, is this real?
You're getting me all excited. Like, I wish I was on that tour. But what did it feel like to be with these, these icons?
Oh my gracious! It was like, it was a dream come true, Ned. It was like, how could you, in September, October of 1957, record a song, and then 7 or 8 months later, end up on a tour with the likes of people like Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, Chantels, Frankie Lyman. I mean, it was like that song says, just too good to be true. But it was true.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing. It totally is amazing. And you sang with the, well, not with them, but on tour with Arlene Smith and the Chantels back then.
Chantels, right. Frankie Lyman. But I'll tell you, I just want to share a story because it was very sad to me. I'll never forget. You see, Frankie had left the teenagers, and he was on his own. But he missed that group. Frankie used to drink a lot. And I'll never forget this one night. He was pissy drunk. And they pushed him out on the stage. I don't know how he got through that performance. He did it, but tears came to my eyes just seeing that. And to me that was sad.
Wow.
I mean, come on. He's drunk. But he's pushed out on that stage before all those people to do that performance. He got through it, but it was sad. It was really sad. And that made me realize, wow, is this the business I'm in like this?
Well, I'm glad you certainly did not follow those footsteps.
Oh, no.
Were you ever nervous? Obviously, boy, can I ask you about Billy? Was he nervous? Were you nervous when you went out in front of all of these thousands of people?
I guess it was like, how can I put this? It was like, I'm living my dream. So I was excited. It was more or less excitement more so than being nervous. It was just exciting. And it was like, wow, is this really happening? And we rode on the bus. You know, it was a 6-week tour on the bus. And Chuck Berry, I'll never forget. Chuck Berry didn't ride on the bus. He had his Cadillac.
Oh, gotta have that Cadillac.
Oh, my gracious. And I'll never forget one time. Chuck, because he was following behind us, and the bus had stopped for a stop or something, and he came on, and we didn't realize. He put a firecracker on the bus to scare everybody. That thing went off, scared the heck. Oh, my God. He was a jokester. He was a big jokester.
What are some of the other stories you guys shared on that bus? You know, I mean, as a young teenager at that time, in your very first tour, I'm sure you sat back and listened to all these stories. How can you share any of them with us?
Well, basically, you're talking about so many years ago, 50-something years ago. I know we were traveling on the bus together, and we'd be singing songs, together, and, basically,
Were you all singing together on the bus? I mean, just, jamming out, as they would say?
Yeah, we would, pick different songs and start singing them and all that, It was fun. It was fun. It really was.
Wow. Amazing.
It wasn't no type of, disagreements or anything like that. Everybody seemed to just be in, good mood, happiness.
That's what that song was all about.
Yes.
Hey, Uncle Vito, did we play Lucky Ladybug yet? I'm sitting here.
No, we didn't
play that yet.
We played La-Di-Da.
We played La-Di-Da. We played Happiness.
Happiness. We got to play
Lucky Ladybug. I'm sitting here and I'm so into your conversation. I see everything on the computer here, but
You know what? I just want to share this with you about Lucky Ladybug because this was amazing to me. This has been back in 2006. I received a phone call from someone, and it was a gentleman, a young guy, and he said, "Miss Lillie." I said, "Yeah," and I forgot what his name was now. Anyway, he said to me, "Listen, we're doing Lucky Ladybug with the children at the library out here in Milpitas, M-I-L-P-I-T-A-S, Milpitas, California. And we'd like to interview you. And the lady who works with the library, she's coming to Jersey to see her daughter. And being that you live in New York State, she'd like to stop by and interview you. And so I said, oh, okay. So anyway, sure enough, she came by when she got into Jersey, and she called me and told me she was on, coming up. So she sat down and recorded me, did an interview of me and everything. And she said that they were going to, I just want to share this with you, December 12, 2006, during story time at the Milpitas, California library, a video was taken of all the children singing Lucky Ladybug. Several months before this, I had received a call from a gentleman saying he was involved with working with the kids at his library, and he said that the kids loved Billy and Lily's Lucky Ladybug. I was shocked. This was really a shock to me. And it says, project summary, family story time. Dancing with the Lucky Ladybug will be an 18 through 20-minute documentary to promote and celebrate the joy of reading with families together in story time. And it says the video will include scenes from story time of the children dancing to the song or listening to a story, images of children's ladybug art, and interviews by the children's librarian with the children, the families, and with the original singer, Lillie Howard, will round out the content. Brian Howard was only 17 at the time she sang and recorded the song in 1958. This hit song was especially popular with children at that time. The documentary will be premiered at the Milpitas Library with Lillie Howard in attendance. Ultimately, the documentary is showing a snapshot of the library. Its resources and programs will serve as a promotional piece for encouraging new readers as it draws new patrons to the library. The Family Story Time, Dancing with the Lucky Ladybug documentary will demonstrate the vitality, fun, resources, and richness of the library for all people. Now, I have to share this with you because what happened, I panicked, and I didn't go because I was afraid to get on the plane. Now, can you imagine this? Back when in the 50s, we were flying all over the place to Thule, Greenland, Gooseberry, Labrador, and blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, I was in tremendous fear about flying out to California.
Well, you know,
I didn't make it out there, but it's on. It's on YouTube. All you got to do is punch in Billy and Lillie, Lucky Ladybug in the California Library, and it comes up. You see the little kids. Oh, it's so cute. They're just singing along with the song Lucky Ladybug.
oh, that
I
is-
wonder how many ladybug pins they sold back then.
Yeah, right, Veto. I wonder about that too.
Merchandise.
Did they ever?
Another story about Lucky Ladybug. There was a gentleman that, a bass player. I had met him, and I invited him down to my mother's club because we were doing jam session every week, once a week on Wednesday nights. So I invited him down. He came down and he, sat in playing his bass. So this one night, he gave me a ride home. And so he was on his way back to Pennsylvania. So I said, well, you want a cup of coffee? So he came in. So anyway, he was sitting down drinking his coffee. And I went and put on Lucky Ladybug. And he almost knocked his coffee over. He said, you got that record? He said, that's the old record. He said, I said, of course I have that record. That's me. I said, what? That's you? He said, oh, my God. He says, a little boy. My mother owned a record shop, and your records, Billy and Lillie, they were selling so greatly. He said, but what I used to do, I used to get a cup, and when the record was playing, I would put ladybugs, like, because she would keep the door open, and I'd be outside, and I'd put the cup down and catch the ladybugs in the cup. And then I'd let him go. He said, he had tears in his eyes. He said, you mean to tell me you are Lillie of Billy and Lillie? I said, yes, I am. His name is Chris Sullivan, bass player. He said, I can't believe this.
Do you know, after this interview, people will look at ladybugs in a very different way.
Yeah.
How about if we play the song and we'll come back and move up more on your historical journey through music? Here's that song, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Vito, you were clapping to that one, huh?
Yeah, right to the same
What a
beat.
cool song, and I'm sure, like I said earlier, everybody's going to be looking at Ladybug in a very, very different way. I know I will. I for sure. Whenever I'm going to look at a ladybug, Lily, I'm going to be singing that song.
Well, they're supposed to be lucky, though, right? I mean,
Well, ladybugs are lucky, absolutely. You're never supposed to hurt.
They're lucky.
You're never supposed to hurt one. Never, ever. So anyway, moving on in your musical history here, we were just talking about a song here. I don't quite understand it, but Billy and Lillie did it, and can we talk about it? The Cat Aloysius Horatio Tom.
I'll tell you, Frank and Bob, man, they came up with song tunes, but I loved Aloysius Horatio Thomas the Cat. I liked the rhythm of it. And one evening, we were performing in a club, I think it was in Chicago. This gentleman, this man came up, he came into the club, and he had this big painting, and it was of a cat. And on the bottom of it said, Aloysius Horatio Thomas the Cat. I said, oh, wow.
Getting back, okay, Uncle Vito, you want to ask her this question?
Yeah, well, there was
Ronnie Allen asked a question on our chat box here.
there's a couple of questions there, I guess, up a little bit. Where did whose idea was for the song? I guess the writers, Bob Crew and the other guy, right? How did that come about, Lucky Ladybug? What brought that on?
How did Lucky Ladybug come about?
Yes, huh?
Well, they wrote it, you know, they wrote it, so I don't know actually how, you know, what motivated them to write that tune. Lucky Ladybug, we're talking about Lucky Ladybug.
Right.
I really don't know what was the motivation behind them, you know, writing that tune, but it was good luck for us. Like I said, Lucky Ladybug, because that was a bigger hit than Happiness was.
Wow. Ronnie Allen asked a question here. Can a ladybug be a male?
Now, I don't know.
You don't.
really don't.
You don't know.
I don't know. Can a ladybug be a male? Well, I would assume some of them would have to be males. Yeah. How could they, you know, multiply if there's not a male-female coming together?
I thought that's a pretty good trick question, I thought there. But, you know, when you went into the recording studio with guys like Bob Crew and that wrote these songs, did you ever ask them, what? You know, the Cat Aloysius Horatio Tom? You know, what are you guys doing?
Listen, I was just so happy and excited about having the opportunity to record. Hey, it was okay with me. They wrote it. Hey, it's okay with me.
Did Billy ever ask them that?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Wow. Well, anyway, how about if we play this little song here by Billy and Lillie, the Cat Aloysius Horatio Tom. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and we'll be back with Lillie Howard here, right here on the first decade of rock and roll, a historical night, my friends. Well, there you go. That's Cat Aloysius Horatio Tom. I'm lucky if I can even say that.
He was
right.
a cool cat.
He was a one cool cat.
Yeah.
So you would consider that, Lily, in terminology of music back then, a novelty type song.
Yeah, I would consider it to be that. Yeah.
As your career went on here, and this song I totally love. I mean, I think this is an absolutely great song, and the name of the song from Billy and Lillie is Terrific Together. Can you talk about that song?
It was a very interesting song. We enjoyed recording it. It was like, we're so terrific together, oh, what a match, what a tremendous sensation, lucky your mates made such a catch. What about seeing our hearts doing flips, kissing your lips, we're so terrific together. You know, very interesting. Billy's wife was named Lillie.
Oh, really?
Yes, her name was Lillie Ford. And a lot of people in New Jersey, because they were from, East Orange, New Jersey, thought that was who was singing with him until they found out, no, it was someone else, yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Isn't that something? His wife was named Lillie.
Well, what else can you say? It's something like that. That doesn't happen at all.
I know. I know.
But kind of like it was these songs that you and Billy have done. Of course, you did some by yourself as well.
Right.
And we're going to get to that, but we're going to do Terrific Together right now.
Okay.
And let the people hear that. And then we're going to come back and talk about you as a single singer.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good to me.
This song you're going to love, ladies and gentlemen. Billy, I'll tell you what.
The windows are steamed in the back of my 1956 Chevy.
Oh, they would be steamed in.
For you.
They would be steamed in the back of my 1967 Barracuda, and that's a big window to steam up.
That's a low song and a half.
I'll say. And out of all the songs you have done, Lily, which one ranks as number one?
With Billy and Lillie, I think that one, Terrific Together, and also I Promise You. I Promise You was one of my favorites also. But the other one I like too, it was one of those up things. What's the name of that song? Ins and Outs, the ins and outs of love.
Oh, yeah. That was one of your favorites as well, then, right?
And we have to mention on that last song, Billy and Lillie, Billy not only sang, but he played the trumpet in that as well.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Did Billy play any other instruments besides that? I mean,
No, trumpet was his major instrument.
Trumpet was...
Like I said, he used to, prior to starting Billy Ford's Thunderbirds, he was one of the front trumpet players with Cootie Williams' big band.
Wow. Multi-talented person he was.
He was a fabulous trumpet player.
And singer.
Yeah.
And singer, no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
I can't wait till these surprise guests come off after we're done here.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Now, Lily decided to do a couple of songs on your own.
Yes.
And how did that all come about?
Well, Frank and Bob liked the sound of my voice, and so they said, we have, want to put some songs together for you. But it just so happens that being that my major involvement was Billy and Lillie, I didn't have opportunity to really promote my single songs, the ones that were put out.
What did Billy have to say at that point when you were doing a single record? Was he for you, or you know?
A little resentful. He was a little resentful regarding it. Yeah. I'll never forget. His manager told him, "Billy, you should be happy." You know, he said, "She's young, she's beautiful. Bill, you know, you act around her," but he just couldn't. No. You know.
Well, I guess that happens.
Yeah.
With many duos, and it's not just you.
Right.
There were many, even Sonny and Cher. You look back into the '60s, you had them, and you know, so many others that broke apart, and of course went on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But you and Billy had a fabulous career. How many years were you together doing these songs?
We were only together 2 years.
That's it?
Yeah.
And all these great songs in 2 years.
Yeah, I left him in, let me see, it was towards almost, it was the end of 1959.
Wow.
Because I just couldn't take it any longer.
Some really great songs at that point. Really great songs.
There was too much turmoil between the two of us. And plus, I'll have to say, when you're young, that's why I like to say, young and foolish.
Yeah, you didn't
when you're
realize.
young, I should have stuck it out. You know, even though he was trying to make it as hard as possible for me, I should have stuck it out. But you know.
Well, maybe that's why he was making it hard for you, because he was a lot older than you. I say he was, what, about 16, 17 years older?
16 years
and he didn't
older.
want you to make any wrong moves, and so I don't think it was a little bit of animosity. I think a little bit of matureness there, wanting you to probably stay, you know?
Well, it was. I don't want to discuss something.
Okay,
No.
don't discuss it. But
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. But the 2 years you had together, so many great hits. It's amazing, and I cannot hardly fathom this, that in them 2 short years, or in those 2 short years, so many great songs came about. You know, like
I know.
this last one, Terrific Together.
yes, that's
I mean, that is a song that no doubt in my mind should have gone up to #1.
I know. I think also Frank and Bob were very disappointed, you know, the way, things ended, because I think that, they had some big plans for Billy and Lillie.
Well, there you go.
But
That's
it became almost impossible for me to stay, because, Billy was making things very hard for me. And I just said, well, I'm out of here.
Let's talk about your single career.
Okay.
What was one of your first song as a single recording artist? Was that Smoky Gray Eyes? Or?
Yeah, it was, and the stroll was a big thing then. So, and that was a stroll. It was big, the stroll, big time.
And that and basically the song is a little bit after that, as far, or sang in that same type of lyrics and music.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a stroll, it was a big, you remember the Diamonds, the stroll?
Right.
Record they made, the stroll?
I think we need to play that. Mm-hmm. And we'll give people a taste of just Lillie Bryant at that time. Now, what year was this song when you put
1958?
1958.
Or 59, let me see. I think it was the beginning of 59. I think.
Let's play it. There you go. That was kind of like a stroll there, Uncle Vito. Do you remember doing the stroll back then?
Diamond, yeah, right down
On
through.
American Bandstand?
On American Bandstand, yep.
On American Bandstand, the kids were doing the stroll.
Yeah.
To that song?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever go on Bandstand to just promote that song?
No. Billy he never let me be able to go out on my own. We were always big, booked here, there, and all that, and so it was just. But well.
It is what it was, I say.
Yeah.
All right, going on. You also had another hit by yourself, and I'll Never Be Free was the name of that. Let's talk about that particular
I
song.
love that song because that was a song Dinah Washington had done. And being that I love Dinah so much, I just wanted to do that tune. Yeah.
And who, okay, was that, did you cover that from Dinah Washington?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it out first.
All righty, well, I'll tell you what, how about if we play this for the people?
Okay.
Here we go.
I'll never be free.
There you go. Boy, I'll tell you what. And something very interesting about your single recordings, that you were harmonizing with yourself on these songs.
Yes, I loved to do that, harmonize with myself.
So it was just Lillie. That's it. No other singers.
Well, singing the lead,
Okay.
in the lead part of it, I'm harmonizing with my voice.
Wow. Totally amazing. I'll tell you, what a voice.
Loved it.
What a voice. Going back to Billy and Lillie now, there was a song called The Ins and Outs.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that one?
I like that song because it was a fun type of song. And the ending of it, we were calling out different artist names, different, top artists who were on the scene at the time.
Is that a Bob Cruz song as well?
Yeah, all of them are written by Bob and Frank.
Wow. So it was all strictly them two that did all your songs. All right. Well, you know what, Lillie, I think we need to play The Ins and Outs.
Except I'll Never Be Free, which, that was not theirs, but all the other stuff was.
Wow. All righty. Well, The Ins and Outs right now. Oh my, what a beautiful song. And Lillie, am I ready for the recording studio with you?
Oh, are you? Okay. Hey.
I'm asking you. I was singing the song with you.
Yeah, well, you sound pretty good.
Well, thank you. See that? I'm going to have a million record seller. I doubt that, Lillie. It's like Uncle Veto said. We'll sing, what, 10 or 12 miles away?
10 or 12 miles away.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what.
Oh, gracious. There was something I wanted to share with you, because this is mind-blowing to me. I'll never forget. Jackie Wilson and I were very close. He was like a brother, a big brother to me. Anyway, he called me one evening. He knew I was in town. He said, Lillie, he said, listen, my friends are throwing a birthday party for me at the Teresa Hotel. He said, and I'd like you to come on by. So I said, okay. So anyway, a friend of mine, and we went by Teresa Hotel. So when we got up there, it was a lot of people up there. And he said to me, Lillie, someone wants to meet you. I said, oh? He said, yeah. He's a songwriter of my big hit, So anyway, he brought him over to me and introduced him to me. He said, Lillie, this is Berry Gordy. So anyway, I said, hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. Now, young and foolish, I'm so, Miss Lillie, high and mighty, and, I said he looked like a beatnik. During that time, you know that term beatnik.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, he was very laid back, but, I just, I wasn't, that interested. And this is before he had started Motown, because he was a songwriter. He had written Jackie's hit record. So I think about that. I said, you dumb fool.
Well, I wouldn't consider you that at all. It's just,
I mean, but no, because I was like, oh, Lillie, a Billy and Lillie, like I said, young and foolish, okay? And, oh, I'm a big star, he's introducing me to this guy. Oh, yeah, I shook his hand. Hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. But, I could have been more friendlier. I could have, instead of being, trying to be the diva that most of us try to be when we're young like that, So.
Well, it is what it is.
One never knows, does one?
Absolutely not. One never knows is right. Now, I'm going to try to bring this song up, and I'm hopefully, it Do you remember that song?
What's that? I can't hear it.
Okay.
Good morning, baby.
Was that a Billy and Lillie song?
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
Uh-huh.
Let's continue on and give the people, let them listen to it. Pretty song that is. Wow.
Beautiful song.
It is. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. In a way, it brings tears to my eyes because I realize how I really blew things. I should have been strong enough to just stay because I really believe that Frank and Bob were really trying to build me up into a single artist because they wrote beautiful songs for me. And but I was hot-tempered, young and foolish. And, well, I wasn't foolish because Billy was trying to make things hard for me, but I just wish that I had been able to hang in there with it because I believe, things would have been different. But, hey, I can't say that because, hey, I ended up, when I got out of show business and got married and I had 5 other children, and I thank God for my children. So if I had stayed there, they wouldn't be here. So, I can't say that. But I do have flashbacks.
I'm sure you did. There's no doubt in my mind,
Yeah.
It has to be that way. Things are meant to be the way they are meant to happen.
Yes.
So, the 2 years that you and Billy were together, that did those so many recordings, have made our ears just a lot more happier.
Correct.
Well,
Well
I'm
put.
glad.
Well put.
Glad to hear that.
And I think these songs that you and Billy did will go on forever, as long as there's people, and I certainly do hope after I'm gone, or Ronnie Allen is gone, or somebody, that plays this music is gone, that somebody picks it up and continues with it.
Thank God you didn't say that when Uncle Vito's gone.
No, you live forever, yeah. But, it's just amazing. And I've said this so many times to people that we talk to. It's so amazing that we listened to your songs back then. And today we're talking with that gal that did those songs. I wish Billy was here. But
Well, I thank God, that I'm still here. Evidently, he left me here for a specific point and reason. There are many things that I like to share with people. I have a column that I write, Lily's Point of View, and I like communicating with people because I find that, that song, People Who Need People are the luckiest people in the world.
absolutely.
If we could just understand, even though we might be different colors, we're all human beings. And if we would just look at each other like that as being another human being and just striving and working together towards making things better. And I really feel in my heart that God left me here for such a point in time as this. I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I believe something's in the making. I believe that God is preparing a stage for me to be launched out on again. I'm much wiser. I'm older, much wiser, and I have a lot to share with people. I want people to come together. Let's work and strive together, trying to make this a better place for us to live and exist in while we're still here. I'm 75 years old now. And I said, well, God, I know you left me here for a reason, and just like I shared with you, Ned, how I did that rewrite on Alfie. that I sang to you.
Yes, last week.
You know, and
Yes.
it's you know, whether some people want to acknowledge it or not, I do believe that God is real. I had too many situations. There's no way I could ever doubt that he's not real. And I believe that he left me here for such a time as this to try to bring people together. Music, the right music, is that type of thing that can cause people to join hands and, hey, come on.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree with you.
And that's what I said earlier about an hour ago in the chat room. This the 50s and the early 60s music brought everybody together. It just seems like everything's out of whack now.
Color didn't mean anything. No. Color did not mean anything. As far as bringing people together with the music, you've said that.
The music.
It's the music that did that.
And we don't hear too much of it anymore. I'm talking about music that would cause people to want to join hands, want to be kinder to one another, want to be more understanding of one another, knowing that it doesn't matter what color we all bleed, we all cry, we all have situations going on in our life. Come on, let's join hands and make this a better place.
Well, one thing I certainly do thank, and I thank the good Lord for many of the years I've been in this business, allowing me to keep my voice, things like that, and also, thanking Him for the short period that you and Billy were together, that did all these beautiful songs, these #1 songs, these big sellers, and I'm sure you and him were put together for that reason as well.
I'm going to tell you something which a lot of people don't realize. But Billy and I were talking about getting back together again. I had he had sent me an email, a telegram really, and because we had been discussing the possibility of us coming back together again. And it says right here, it says, Lillie, this was April 9th, 1980. We're down time. We're doing a tour of Germany and Italy. Things are going great. I meant to get back to you. I had problems. Dismal problems. At present, I have 2 girls and 4 men. Great show. We'll be back May 3rd. We'll be going back to the Pines Hotel in South Fallsburg, New York. Last of May, I will be in touch with you. Because we were talking about reuniting. And that was 1980. But then, so many different things were occurring, and we talked, and, well, yeah, we're going to do this, and then, no, we're not going to, I guess maybe thinking about the past. But then we had finally made the decision that we were going to get back together. And when we came to that decision, that was in the last part of 84, around December of 84. Anyway, March 11th, 1985. I received a telegram. Well, it says now 3/11/83. That's interesting. But now on this one, okay, 3/11/85. I'm sorry, 3/11/85. And it says, urgent, please phone Lillie Ford. That's Billy's wife. And I called her, and she told me Billy had died. And I felt very bad about that, because I felt that we had a great possibility of coming back together again and making music. But
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Why don't you play that beautiful song of hers?
We're going to. I think what we're going to do is call it a night with you, Lillie, and I think we need to do another sequel. I think we could dwell into a lot more things and out. Or you don't have out, but...
Oh, it's not out.
Well, we're going to get it out. I can guarantee you. And I said earlier, I sent it to Robin McNamara. 1970 had a number 4 hit. Number 1 where I was in Belfast, Maine, Lay a Little Lovin' on Me. And he knows a gentleman very well in Santa Barbara, California. And I'm sure you know him. Guy's name is Jeff Barry.
No, I don't know him.
I thought you may have known him, and he was very, very into producing a lot of great groups. Late 60s, he was into Sugar, which was the Archies. He brought that to number 1 and stuff. Well, Robin listened to the song, and I sent it out to him, your new version of La Di Da. And he wrote back to me. Actually, he called me, and he said, Ned, he says, I'm going to send this out to Jeff Barry. He's retired from the business, but he said, you know what? I think this song will tickle his ears. Because he really did love your music, you and Billy. And he's going to listen to it. And hopefully, Robin says, I think. And he said, and Robin has been in here. I interviewed him here. And he thinks, Ned, he says, I think this is going to be a hit.
And if it makes it, you better get your Geritol ready.
You know, I just want to share this with you before you do that. It's very... It's really strange, although there are no coincidences in life. Bob Cruz passing away is what got everything started again, because Ronnie Allen contacted me. He was doing a show on Bob Cruz's life, and he contacted all of the different artists that Bob Cruz had written songs for, and blah, blah, blah. And when Ronnie called me, he said, Lily, and he said, I just want to do a little snippet of you right now. He said, but I'd like to call you back at some point in time and do an interview on you by yourself. And so this is how this started evolving, and Denise Ferry came on board because she was involved with that also. And I'm saying to myself, wow. I mean, this is, and then you're brought into the picture. You and Uncle Veto. Something is going on here. And it's just, it's almost like, because God had, maybe some people don't believe him, but the Lord has said to me, I'm going to prepare you. I'm going to launch you back out there because I'm on my way back. And I know you are the type of person who will tell them, in spite of what they want to believe. I believe that God is preparing a stage to launch me out on. I really believe that in my spirit.
I believe that as well. I really do. Lily, it has been an honor to talk to you tonight. It has been a pleasure. Even our private chats, you know, that we've talked to before.
Yes.
I am... You have no idea how honored I am to talk to you.
As well as Uncle Veto.
Well, I'm very honored to have had the opportunity to meet you and Uncle Veto. And I just believe, you know, something's going on here. Something's going on.
Well, we'll find out, I'm sure, Lily. I'm sure. And our very special guest as well will be on in a couple of minutes here as well.
So make sure you stay and listen.
So make sure you stay tuned. All right. So, Lily, take care.
Okay.
We'll be back with you, I'm sure, very shortly. And I thank you so much for giving us your story.
You're quite welcome. Are you going out with the new one?
We're going to send it out here once again, and maybe we'll have to play it another time again. But this is your brand new version of La Di Da.
Yes.
And we are going to end this on such a beautiful note. And again, Lily, it's my honor. It is.
Oh,
Uncle Vito's honor. And we wish you the best. Of course, stay healthy. And God bless you, and your family as well.
Thank you so much, and God bless you and your family, and you also, Uncle Veto, and to all the listeners out there who have taken their time to hear about me. God bless. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Lillie. You take care now.
Okay, now.
Bye-bye.